You're about to hear something that might make you uncomfortable, but if you stay with me until the end, it may become the turning point of your entire life. Because right now, whether you realize it or not, you are living far below the level of power, clarity, and self-respect you are capable of. And the most dangerous part is, you've gotten used to it. You've normalized distractions. You've normalized emotional chaos. You've normalized the slow death of your own potential. Not because you're weak, but because nobody ever taught you what happens when a human being finally confronts themselves without noise, without excuses, without escape routes. If you stay with me, I'm going to show you the truth most people avoid their entire lives, that your mind is louder than your life, that your habits are stronger than your dreams, and that self-betrayal has become so familiar you no longer even see it. And the moment you understand this, not theoretically, but viscerally, your entire world shifts. Because clarity changes the direction of your life faster than motivation ever will. So before we go any further, ask yourself one question. Are you watching this to feel inspired for 5 minutes? Or are you watching because you're tired of repeating the same patterns year after year? Because if you're ready for something real, something raw, something that actually forces you to confront the parts of yourself you've avoided, then stay. Don't scroll. Don't click away. Because what I'm about to share doesn't just change how you think. It changes how you live, how you choose, how you show up in the world when no one is watching. Stay with me. This may be the last time you ever hide from your own potential. When we try to understand why women are so drawn to older men, we have to start with something that goes way beyond appearance or age: emotional maturity. And emotional maturity isn't about being serious or rigid. It's about a man who understands himself so deeply that he no longer reacts from insecurity or fear. A man who knows his emotional patterns, who recognizes his triggers, and who chooses responses instead of impulsive reactions. Women feel that instantly. They feel the difference between a man who is grounded and a man who is still battling with his own self. Younger men, without realizing it, often carry emotional noise, overthinking, insecurity, impatience. They want to prove they are worthy. They want to impress. They want to show they can be enough. But older men have lived enough life to understand a powerful truth. You don't have to prove anything when you know who you are. That internal stability creates a calm energy around them, and women are naturally drawn to that calm. Not because they want perfection, but because they want connection without chaos. A man with emotional maturity knows how to listen, not to fix, not to defend, not to turn the conversation toward himself. He listens because he is present. He listens because he values understanding more than being right. Women open up when they feel understood, and older men often create that space effortlessly. They don't get overwhelmed by emotions, neither theirs nor hers, because they've learned how to navigate emotional storms without losing themselves. This maturity also shows in how older men approach conflict. They don't escalate, they regulate. They don't view disagreement as a threat to their ego. They see it as a moment to understand more deeply. And that ability to remain composed gives women a sense of emotional safety that is incredibly attractive. It's not about control, it's about emotional wisdom. And perhaps the most powerful part of emotional maturity is emotional independence. Older men don't cling. They don't attach from emptiness. They don't expect a woman to fill the gaps in their identity. They come into a relationship whole so they can love from abundance, not neediness. This is why emotional maturity is magnetic, not because of age, but because of evolution. Because a man who has mastered himself becomes the kind of man a woman can trust, respect, and open herself to. A simple truth remains: emotional maturity isn't given by age, it's earned through self-awareness, discipline, and honesty. Become that man, and you won't have to chase connection. It will naturally find its way to you. Presence is one of the most misunderstood qualities in a man, yet it's one of the strongest reasons why older men effortlessly attract women. Presence isn't about looks, height, or the way a man dresses. It's not about being loud or demanding attention. Real presence is internal. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing yourself so well that you no longer need the world to confirm your value. And this is something older men naturally embody because life has trained them to operate from intention rather than insecurity. A younger man often walks into a room searching for signals, checking who's watching, wondering how he's being perceived, adjusting himself based on the reactions of others. His attention is scattered outward. But an older man's attention is turned inward. He doesn't enter a space to be noticed. He enters with his energy already collected. That inner centeredness creates a gravity around him, and women feel it immediately. They sense a man who is not competing, not performing, not proving, just existing in a grounded, composed state. Presence also shows in the way he communicates. Older men speak slowly, deliberately, without rushing their words. They don't interrupt or dominate conversations. They don't use humor as a shield or overconfidence as a mask. They allow silence, and they aren't threatened by it. Silence becomes a tool, not a void. It becomes space for connection, not something to fill. A man who is comfortable with silence signals emotional security, and women respond to that with instinctive attraction. Another layer of presence is awareness. Older men observe before they engage. They listen before they speak. They respond after they process. This kind of mindfulness is rare, and it's deeply appealing because it gives a woman the experience of being truly seen and heard. Younger men often focus on how they appear. Older men focus on understanding what's happening around them. That shift in awareness transforms interactions from shallow to meaningful. Presence is also tied to composure, not the fake, forced composure people try to display, but the natural calm that comes from having already survived life's storms. Older men don't panic easily. They don't react impulsively. Their energy is steady, and that steadiness creates emotional safety for anyone near them. Women feel more grounded around a man who is grounded within himself. In the end, presence is not something you create, it's something you cultivate. It's the natural outcome of self-awareness, discipline, and inner clarity. And the truth is simple: when your presence becomes stronger than your words, you no longer have to chase attention. Attention finds you on its own. Purpose is one of the strongest markers of attraction, yet it's also the least understood. Most people think purpose is about having a good career, earning a stable income, or simply being busy. But true purpose is much deeper. It is the internal compass that guides a man's decisions, his mindset, his discipline, and the direction of his entire life. And this is where older men naturally stand out. They have clarity, they have direction. They've lived enough life to understand what truly matters and what simply wastes energy. Younger men often move through life seeking validation, approval, or constant excitement. Their attention is fragmented. Their decisions are reactive. But older men operate from a different place, a place of intention. They've faced failure, tasted disappointment, rebuilt themselves, and discovered what aligns with their identity. When a man has purpose, his energy transforms, his presence shifts, his priorities mature. He stops chasing everything and starts choosing carefully. Women feel this shift immediately because purpose radiates through every part of a man's behavior. A man with purpose doesn't need to cling to anyone. He doesn't look for someone to save him or complete him. His life already has structure, direction, and meaning. This creates a magnetic energy because it tells a woman that he will not lose himself in the relationship. He won't suffocate her with neediness. He won't depend on her for emotional stability. Purpose provides him with internal balance, and that stability allows a woman to relax into the connection rather than guard herself from it. There is also an emotional confidence that comes from purpose. A man who knows where he is going doesn't fear losing people. He doesn't fear rejection. He doesn't fear judgment. His identity is anchored in something much bigger than external approval. This is why older men often appear more composed, more sure of themselves, and more selective. Their purpose shapes their boundaries, their habits, their emotional availability, and that kind of clarity is incredibly attractive because it eliminates the chaos that comes from dating someone who doesn't know who he is or what he wants. Purpose also creates consistency, and consistency builds trust. Women are naturally drawn to men who are reliable, disciplined, and intentional. A purposeful man doesn't say one thing and do another. His actions reflect his values. His decisions reflect his direction. His lifestyle reflects his vision. That alignment is rare, and when a woman sees it, she instinctively gravitates toward it. In the end, purpose turns a man from someone who drifts through life into someone who leads his life. And the truth is simple: when you build a life with direction, you become a man whose presence inspires, whose energy attracts, and whose path naturally pulls others forward. Purpose isn't optional. It's the foundation of attraction.